So this video is about 18 numbers, which clearly shows where direction things are going. And let's see if this is based, off of just the U.S. or not. So basically, this is an economic article analyzing 18 numbers based off the economy to show you which direction things are going. Okay, so let's see. So he said, I hear from so many people that are deeply hurting right now. If you are one of those people, I want you to know that you aren't alone. There really are millions of Americans that are completely stressed out over their finances. Yeah, I mean, think about it. They made it where most people can't afford the basics: housing, food, phone, and transportation. Um, Health premiums, especially if they don't got a job that offers premiums, which is usually full-time jobs. And even those, when you still got to pay, when you show them that you have, employer paid for, for your premiums, your health premiums. So it says there really are millions of Americans that can't seem to find work no matter how hard they try. Wow. And there are really millions of Americans that can't believe how expensive things have become. Of course, there's a small segment of our society that is doing fine. The wealth of the top percent has reached 52 trillion. Wow. And CEO salaries have jumped more than 1,000% since, where they say around 1,094% since the 1978. Many of those that are sitting at the top of the economic pyramid wonder what all the fuss is about, but for the rest, we know how badly economic conditions have deteriorated because we are seeing it every day. The following are 18 numbers which clearly show what direction things are. So I'll go 1 through 9 to a first half because I'm gonna have to take a pee real quick during the middle of this thing. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, man. I'm gonna be going over, more, articles as much as I can. So we got private payrolls. So number one, according to ADP, the U.S. has lost 32,000 jobs. That was the largest drop in 2.5 years. So private payrolls saw their biggest decline in 2.5 years. During September, a further sign of labor market weakening. Companies shed a seasonally adjusted 32,000 jobs during the month. The biggest slice is March 2023. Payrolls processing firm ADP reported. In addition to the drop in September, the August payrolls numbers was revised to a loss of 3,000 from initially reported increase of 54,000. Number two, the number of long-term employed workers in the U.S. has risen to the highest level since the pandemic, since 2020. As of August, the number of long-term unemployed people had risen to 1.9 million, according to government data, the highest level since 2021, when the nation was still reeling from the pandemic. Number three, Reuters is reporting that over 150,000 federal workers will permanently leave their jobs this week. More than 150,000 federal employees will leave the U.S. government payroll this week after accepting buyouts, the largest single-year exodus of civil servants in nearly 80 years. Wow. 80 years? Damn. Triggering what unions and government experts warn is a damaging loss of institutional expertise. They accepted buyouts. The official resignations begin on Tuesday for workers who opted into a deferred exit program that kept them on the payroll through September. The buyouts are a cornerstone of President Trump's push to shrink the federal workforce, combining financial incentives with threats of dismissal for those who decline the offer. Number 4, the number of movie jobs in Los Angeles County has fallen by 30% in just 2 years. The far left Wall Street Journal reports that at the end of 2024, there were only 100,000 motion picture jobs in Los Angeles County compared to 142,000 2 years earlier. That's a 30% collapse. Interesting. They touch on the movie industry. Yeah, I mean, really, who's going to see movies? Are people even going to the theaters anymore? I don't even hear about people going to the theaters or people saying, "Oh, I just saw this new movie and it was raw." I haven't heard people saying that. Number 5, approximately 900 GM employees are facing indefinite layoffs. General Motors is placing 9,000 workers on indefinite layoff at Fairfax Assembly Plant in Kansas, the company told the Detroit Press. They were placed on temporary layoff as of September 4th. Number 6, Exxon has confirmed that it plans to eliminate 2,000 high-paying jobs. A spokesperson for Exxon confirmed to Barron's on Tuesday that the company plans to cut 2,000 jobs, representing only 3 to 4% of the energy company's global workforce. I mean, not much percentage, but still, 2,000 is quite a bit. The news was first reported by Bloomberg, which said Exxon sent a memo to employees noting the company is consolidating smaller offices into regional hubs as part of a long-term restructuring plan. Interesting. Number 7, the tech industry has laid off more than 166,000 workers so far in 2025. Number 7, 166,000 workers, which is more than 150,000, right? I said, yeah, for the federal employees with the government. So the tech industry laid off more than the government, a little bit more. Number 8, a 37-year-old tech worker that lost her job last November still hasn't found work, even though she has applied for hundreds of jobs. When Anna Whitlock, Anna Whitlock, I'll look that up, see what pops up, was let go from her job in the technology industry in November of 2024, she wasn't worried about lining up a new position. The Washington State resident had 11 years of experience managing network infrastructure projects. Interesting. A specialized role that involves equipping buildings with internet access, cameras, and Wi-Fi security systems. She managed a network infrastructure project. So, wow, she pretty much was managing equipping buildings with internet access, cameras, and Wi-Fi security systems. So basically, cameras and Wi-Fi security systems, internet access, yeah, that's basically a security type company for buildings, really, yeah, security for buildings or business buildings. The last time I had to job search, I found something pretty easily, she said. Almost a year later, the 37-year-old is still without a job. Whitlock said she has applied to hundreds of jobs, even for positions she's overqualified for, to no avail. Wow. Number 9, according to Mark Mitchell of Rasmussen reports, only 48% of U.S. adults under the age of 30 currently have a full-time job, while only half of people under 30 have a full-time job. Wow. Number 10, our standard of living has been steadily declining for a very long time. In 1950, more than 50% of 30-year-olds in the U.S. owned a home and were married. Today, that figure has fallen to just 13%. And it's number 10. That's huge, falling to 13%. But I'm trying to get through this video because I don't want it to be more than 15 minutes. Since the post-war era, the share of 30-year-olds in America with both a family and a home has plummeted from about, we could do a whole new video just on this statistic, which is probably one of the most alarming ones I've seen so far. So from about 52% in 1950 to just 13% in 2025. That's a staggering 75% decline over 75 years. Wow. Number 11, 44% of Americans struggle to make their housing payments each month. So that's almost half. More than 44%. U.S. homeowners and renters struggle to afford their regular rent or mortgage payments, according to a recent Redfin survey. Yeah, I can see how they're trying to pay that and barely able to save anything. We consider survey respondents, especially if they have kids, we consider survey respondents to struggle with housing payments that they selected. I struggle greatly to afford them. I regularly struggle, but sometimes okay, or I sometimes struggle, but generally okay. Number 12, 46% of Americans worry about debt every single day. Wow, number 12, 46% of Americans worry about debt every single day. Almost half. Number 13, prices were slashed on 20% of home listings last month as the U.S. housing bubble starts to burst. So I guess BlackRock stopped buying all the properties. I thought they'll just buy it and leave it vacant and put it up for rent if they can't find anybody. If they can't find anybody to price gouge on the property, price gouge on the rent, they'll just leave it empty and say F it. The number of listings with price cuts reached 19.9% unchanged from August, but up modestly from last year. Home prices between $350,000 and $500,000 saw the steepest markdowns at 21%, while luxury properties over $1 million were less likely to see reductions at just 13%, according to a Thursday report from Realtor.com. Interesting. You got the $1 million property market, and you got the regular 350 to 500,000, more of the middle class market. Number 14, 49%, or pretty much half of Americans say the cost of living is the biggest challenge that they are facing. Interesting. The prices rising and inflation, and your paycheck not going up along with it. Yeah, I can see everybody trying to fight against that. Number 15, 67% U.S. workers are now living paycheck to paycheck, so about 70% really. But paycheck to paycheck, I think is 80 to 90% really. I think 67% is BS. I think it's 80 to 90% of people really paycheck to paycheck. It could be as low as 80 or as high as 90. That's what I think we're at right now. The price of ground beef has risen by more than 12% over the past year. Ground beef, yeah, interesting. Number 17, so we got two more. Number 17, the number of cows in the U.S. has fallen to the lowest level since 1951. Wait, so what we need cows for, like milk? Don't they mainly produce milk? Cutter rancher Mike Martz of Larson Farms in Maple Park, Illinois, told Fox Business. Well, I'm watching the Lakers game right now. Quick pause. But like, comment, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want me to do a video on a certain topic. You can leave a comment on that, or my email being in the description. You could contact me by email too. The real issue here is the drought that happened a number of years ago in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. The Southeast lost all their grass, all their forage. And when that happens, you've got to liquidate cows, and that's what we've done, Mark said. We've got the lowest cow inventory since 51, so that's the cause of this. I'm gonna look up this cow stuff. No cows, how does that affect the economy and maybe the food industry? Cause I know we get milk possibly from cows, but what else do we get? And number 18, the last one, the cost of the American dream has now reached $5 million. And yeah, and it's interesting. I've seen some videos on that. We haven't seen anything like this in 08 and 09. Of course, I am entirely convinced that we are facing will ultimately far worse than 2008, 2009. Yeah, that's what it is, man.